Okay, zippers. Oh, that can make me a little smaller. Zippers, chapter 18. We are continuing with my animal rights book called Zippers, starring Zippers, the talking cat. Oh, I'm such a perfectionist. I gotta get me. Woo, help, I'm getting dizzy. There we go. That ain't bad. Oh, shit. There we go. Hi. Yes. Okay, chapter 18. Good afternoon. I'm Don Blick with the Legal Representation and Counsel for Annex Systems. In the matter of Jacob A. Phelps and Elise W. Tarpon, the prosecution intends to prove the following violations and illegal activities. 12-115. Breaking and entering. 12-127. Willfully destroying and damaging property of a former place of employment, and 13-902, theft of crucial formulas and medicinal vials which resulted in the company's inability to manufacture and profit from said properties, its own properties, that are rightfully the company's properties. These two individuals certainly knew engaging in all of these activities was criminal behavior. 13-967, committing a criminal act reflecting on the former employee's honesty and respect as those who should be honoring each and every employee agreements they once signed as said employees. Any reasonable person would see that this lawsuit is not only fair and reasonable, but unquestionably expected after what Mr. Phelps and Ms. Tarpon did the night of October 31st, 2018. We will show beyond any doubt through surveillance footage and with the key witnesses who worked with the defendants that this was simply an act of employee retaliation due to the company's paring down of necessary numbers. The prosecution believes that once we have presented the facts, the jury will have no option but to agree that the verdict of guilty on all counts of the aforementioned violations and grievances will be warranted and served for Jacob A. Phelps and Elise W. Tarpon. I thank you. Thank you, Mr. Blick, said Judge Alhook. She then proceeded to address the defense. Mr. Tarpon? Thank you, Your Honor. And good afternoon, everyone. I'm Herschel Tarpon, counsel with Jacob Phelps and Elise Tarpon for the defense. Now, everyone here has already been briefed on the pretrial papers of admission. We won't dispute they broke into their employer's place of business and took things that were at one time theirs, an act they both regret to a considerable extent. But there's an entirely different side to this story. It's a story that does not go into calculated ill intent, but about two former employees who were at their wits' ends trying to reconcile not only the irrational rationale given for their dismissals, but their dawning realizations the reasons for their dismissals had more to do with the goal of the corporation to take groundbreaking discoveries of the defendant's own making and claim them solely as their own inventions. This occurred without any credit of help given whatsoever to their laid-off underlings. After years of tension, the boss-employee relationship frayed like that of a breaking rope. I believe after you've seen the complete picture, you'll understand completely that these two young geniuses are actually heroes, not criminals. That their work has done more to heal the suffering of families with autism and other brain debilitating problems and conditions than anyone else in the scientific community for the past 200 years. Additionally, these two emerging talents have done more to breach the gap between interspecies communication than any team in the animal behavior sciences for the same 200 years, probably 2,000 years. Jacob Phelps and Elise Tarpon should not only be lifted of these unfair allegations, but become full-fledged members of the scientific community they have always been proud to serve from their humble sidelines at Annex Systems. Their accomplishments should be recognized for the leaps forward they've taken us as a species. Their work should be lauded, not tarnished with exaggerated mudslingings and shallow political jealousies. Thank you very much. Herschel sat down. Zippers blinked his big green eyes to him as if to say, "Thank you, that was good." "Thank you, Mr. Tarpon," continued the judge. "Okay then, if we're ready to begin testimony, Mr. Blick, you may call your first witness." He called for Denny. "They were ruthless. They were as desperate as they were destructive. Everywhere in the camera footage you can see them busting down doors and breaking down lock cabinets and protective glass windows. But even before this, if I may use the term without offending present company, animalistic behavior." "Please, you're giving them a compliment," Zipper spoke in an undertone. "The defense will remain quiet," said the judge, against a slight murmur of laughter from the room. "Continue, Mr. Fairbanks," Denny continued. "Even before they made their calculated decisions to break and enter to steal our properties, Jacob had purveyed deleterious language against Annex Incorporated, which I perceived as ill intent." "Objection, Your Honor." Herschel rose from his chair. "It's the facts that are most important in this case, not musings of anyone's perceptions, whether on the plaintiff's side or the defendant's." Sustained. Mr. Fairbanks, if you could try and rephrase that last point, please, spoke Judge Alhook. "Sure." Denny cleared his throat. "Jacob, to me, on more than one occasion, spoke of his dissatisfaction with the company. He quite often spoke of how his love and his devotion for Annex Systems had devolved into an almost bitter hatred, you might say. His words, not mine. If we watch those spray-painted videos, which aren't completely hidden from what took place that night, you'll see that hatred, that bitterness in concrete physical actions, right down to the sprinkler system flooding the entire first floor. Even the defense has admitted to what's in that footage." "Objection. Jacob can't be judged by words like hatred or bitterness from a soundless video any more than you can judge them having a love and devotion for the place despite the same video. They were there to achieve a certain goal, and it's obvious their intent was to leave that place as quickly as possible once that goal was achieved." Then let me rephrase that for you," answered Denny. "In the video, you can see the more slender individual of the two, who we now know must be Jacob, kick in doors, pry open handles with a crowbar, and smash property into tiny pieces with heavy metallic chairs. Call it what you will, Mr. Tarpon. I see a lot of unbridled, uncontrolled anger in a lot of those moments." "Objection again, Your Honor." And I guess I'm going to have to say an objection because my 10 minutes are up. You can get Zippers on Amazon. Better yet, go to obligatedwhisperer.com. No, sorry about that. That's another book. Colorwoodbooks.com. Bye.